My hair's still wet.
You think? I think we're live.
Everyone enjoys getting out on the town for some live music. And there's nothing like going backstage and down the hall for a VIP pass to the inside information and interviews with the bands, singers, and songwriters that you enjoy. Welcome to Hall Around Town Radio's Backstage Hall Pass, a showcase of homegrown talent, mixing independent music with personal interviews and a behind-the-scenes look at our music community. Backstage Hall Pass is your front row center seat to some great conversation with the area's most talented artists. Whether you like rock, blues, folk, country, or R&B, Backstage Hall Pass delivers you a daily dose of the stories behind the music. And now, here's the host of our show, Scott Hall.
And Ceris. We got to change that. How you doing?
Good. How are you? Gotta get my
great.
phone so I can see.
I'm great.
Can you see? Stephen Bell, Dirk Turner, Toy Hawk. You inspired this one, Toy.
Yes, he did. It's his show today. He sent it to us, so we're doing it for Toy. Hi, James. Thank you for being here. And hello to Ceris, he says.
Hello.
Ray Renee in the house. How you doing, Ray? Kevin Cooper says hi to Ceris, but oh, yeah, me too. It's okay, Cooper, as Ceris calls you, Cooper.
Pooper,
it's okay.
Cooper.
It's okay. Hi, Vicky Smith. What's going on? Hi, Gary, my resident Gene Simmons in the house. What's going on? Kara, how are you? Howdy ho, Heidi ho, any other hoes? What's going on? We got any hoes out there? I don't know.
So many hoes.
Skip from Liars for Hire in the house. How you doing? And of course, the one, the only.
Worthy, it's been so long.
The redheaded crazy lady. I love her so much, Kathy Liberty.
My fave.
She's great. That was a nice bass, by the way.
All
about that bass.
Lady.
She is. All right, saying hi to some people here, Bob. We're going to get to the topic, though. We've got a lot to talk about. Chris Thompson, good afternoon. And Kara's the hoe from Boats and Hoes. That's right, Prestige Worldwide, her trivia team. Boats and Hoes.
Boats and Hoes.
There we go. All right, let's get started today. Hot Topic Tuesday. They've been a bit controversial. They've been a bit fun. We've had some fights. We've had some romance. What do you think about today's topic, Ceris?
Oh, I think it's going to be a double hitter. I think it's going to be a 2-day show again.
You think so? Hi, Lee Dixon.
Yeah, I have so much to talk about, and I'm going to take up the whole time. So
you always talk. I just sit back now. I'm going to put you solo, and I'll just sit back and drink.
Who's Scott? Who?
Yes, I have a party tonight.
Do you?
Well, I have trivia tonight, so it's my Christmas trivia though. It's all Christmas stuff. It's gonna be
Hi,
fun.
Lee.
Lee says hello, 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 howdy, hello.
I love Lee Dixon.
I do too. He's wonderful. He's a wonderful man. He is. All right, topic today, folks, and it's a broad topic, but it is basically, do you come to music shows for a stage show and theatrics from the performers and entertainment on stage besides just singing and musicianship, or would you prefer to just see an artist stand on stage and in the same place and sing?
Well, that's like one extreme to the other because, but yeah.
I take it to the extremes. Sometimes we go to extremes.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you intro that then? What would you like to talk about, Her Highness?
The Queen is here.
Oh, we know.
Well, I'm going to put it this way, and I'd like to clarify, and I'm going to say this throughout the show so that way yes, the hands are out. So that way, people are not overly offended by the words that are coming out of my mouth. I think there's a time and a place for everything, and I think certain things work for certain places, blah, 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 blah. It's not like a definite no or definite yes on certain things. Because I'm going to say this. The more, there are a lot of bands in Cincinnati that are full of show. And they get paid a ton of money for what they do. They get paid for that show. Some of them use tracks. Some of them don't. Some of them, it's this big theatrical movement, and it's great for what it is. Me personally, I like a little bit of lighting, and I like some killer music and some great musicians. Now, that being said, I don't want you to lay there like a dead fish, like a chick who doesn't know how to bang. You know what I mean? But I do want you to,
oh my God,
do a little bit, get into the music. And usually when you can tell, you don't need a whole lot when a musician is really feeling what they're doing. It will come out in the way they play and the way and what they and how they do it. That's how it's going to come out. Now, there are certain bands that are really good at what they do, like their performance, their show, but I will always say music first. But I'm not done, but I'm going to let other people talk now. Hi, it's me, guys. It's me. Anyways, guys, I had a great day. Scott, you're being a dick.
Thanks. I love you too. You know, this is a wonderful relationship we have here, but I would like to give my 2 cents worth.
I didn't even know you were here. That's so adorable.
It is. I've been hiding in the background. I'm up against the wall. Another brick in the wall is what I am today. So let's zoom in a little. Let's do that. How's that? How's that for up close? I'm sporting my Nakatomi Plaza 1988 shirt, Christmas party shirt from Die Hard. It's not a Christmas movie, but let's get to topic. Here's my cut on this.
Die Hard's not a Christmas movie?
No, that's what people say, and I don't agree with that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, don't argue with me. Don't look for a fight. Everything I say, okay? My God.
Silly things.
Right. Well, what is stage presence? That's the question we need to answer first.
Well, stage presence is different than putting on a show.
Okay, I agree. Yeah. That's what I'm getting at. But you go ahead and steal my thunder again. Just go ahead.
I can
do it every time. You do it every freaking show. There. Okay. Back to the brick wall.
Okay, but Toy, what do you consider a great show? Do you think that it does always have to consist of wigs and being somebody else, or can a great show be somebody who has great stage presence and great music?
Wow. Rick and Trina said, if you want good music, buy a CD. Wow.
Who?
Interesting. Rick and Trina. It's up on your screen.
Who are Rick and Trina before I comment?
They are 2 people watching the show today. Well, it's Rick or Trina, one of the 2 of them.
Do they not come out to see live music?
I would think they do, or they wouldn't be here.
What an interesting comment.
Thank you, Scotty Long. Happy birthday, by the way. It's Scotty Long's birthday, so we're wishing him a happy birthday today. Matt Matheny, he says, if you perform correctly, we will all see lights. Interesting.
I can see what I know what he's saying with that.
We're getting deep today. We are. Showmanship, don't just stand there is what Toy's saying. And I think that's why he posed this question to begin with. And let's not get in the topic of whether you wear costumes or wigs or not right now. Let's talk about what is stage presence. Because stage presence is really, truly a broad paintbrush. I mean, it is. Some people consider stage presence the fact that you walk out on stage and you're a superstar and you command the audience attention. True. I mean, I've seen people sing solo, walk out on stage, huge stars, and the entire place is focused on them, laser focused on them. But let's stick it to the local tri-state area tonight. Let's talk about bands that are playing out in local venues. Should they put on a show or shouldn't they? And I think stage presence can be summed up in, can you capture the attention of your audience? Might be just through playing great vocals and musicianship. I don't know. But that's my thought on it, Miss Ceris, at this point. I want to make sure we know what stage presence is before we get into telling people how to have it.
Oh, I'm not telling anybody how to have it.
Oh, yes, you are.
No. I agree with you. Stage presence is, can you grab the audience's attention with what you're doing, which I think comes out in the passion of what you do.
Okay, I'm reading comments here.
There's some bands that come to play, hit the stage, and it's just like hitting repeat on your CD. It's boring, and they don't get rebooked at my bar. That I can tell you right now. Then there's some bands that go over the top with their theatrics, and they forgot that they have to have good music with that too, and they too don't get rebooked, right?
At times. I mean, there's some show bands out there that I'm going to go out on a limb and say are marginal at musicianship and vocals and so on. And I'll use the same example I used yesterday on the show was, let's look at old Van Halen. I mean, David Lee Roth. The guy isn't going to go down in the history books as one of the greatest singers of all time. Now, he had a great band. Their theatrics were incredible, and that's what sold that band. That's why Van Halen was hugely popular, because of Diamond Dave's craziness on stage. Didn't mean they were the best band out there, but people latched onto that. They grabbed onto that. That's just, again, these are all our opinions. Kevin Cooper's comment's good. And it's how you deliver songs.
Eric Knight sounds a little offended, but Eric, that's exactly what we're saying. Stage presence is not just one thing. It's a broad, it can be many different things. But if you're not feeling the music you're playing, and if you're not enjoying yourself, then you can't have the stage presence won't be there. You can't fake stage presence. You can fake theatrics, but you can't fake stage presence.
No, and I went this year on watching the big tours and that, and I went to see Garth Brooks down at, it was either Great American or Paul Brown or something. Paul Brown, I think. And Garth Brooks walks out on stage by himself with an acoustic guitar, stood in the same exact place for this one song, and captured the entire 80,000 people or whatever the hell was there. And he had stage presence doing that. And then most of his shows, craziness on stage. They're running around, they're playing, they're putting on a show. But, there are times for that. And I think nothing's set in stone that we talk about on here, obviously.
But again, that's not, you don't have to flail your arms to have stage presence. Those are completely different things, in my opinion.
Right. If you look at the menus locally, and I'll use them as an example.
Chemistry is huge. Chemistry is huge. Sorry, go, Scott. My bad.
Would you like to talk some more, or just sip your water?
Yeah, but I don't want you to get angry with me, because I'm trying to interact with our beautiful audience.
Thank you.
Dick.
Man, we're having fun today, aren't we? So, Kathy Laverde's spot on.
Yes, that's what I was saying.
Yes, and I know you picked it. I was in the middle of saying something else, and now I've totally forgotten what it was, so it must not have been important. Okay. Miss Jackie, I was talking about the menus. Miss Jackie has huge stage presence, okay?
Oh, she should write a book on stage
yes.
presence.
She could teach classes, and
you can't teach it. You either have it or you don't, in my opinion.
I disagree. I do. I think you can learn it. I think what Kevin Cooper said earlier, you can be a great musician, and the stage presence will come naturally with time. And the more confidence you build in what you're doing, the more stage presence you're going to have.
But that comes naturally. That's not, you can't fake stage presence.
Okay. Let me change the word learn to develop it. Okay. They're going to develop stage presence. I've seen people go from being the first time on stage. You have too.
Absolutely. You can develop it, but you can't fake it.
What's Eric got to say again? Oh, that's what he said earlier. Okay. I got that. And I don't think he's offended. I think he's just making a comment, but I'm going to say though, that there are many ways a band or a musician can capture their audience. Don't you agree?
Absolutely.
So what are some of those ways? And people chime in. We want your comments here. This may be more than a one-day show. So, we're at the midway point already. So lay it on us. Hello, Gina McCann. Thank you for being here. What's Mason got to say? He agrees. Love seeing actual emotions behind what the musicians are playing.
Yes.
Well, first and foremost, please understand, I did not say I was against that. So just before anybody gets on the jumps on the Wisconsin asshole bandwagon or whatever. All right. Here, I'm going to do this, and you talk for a minute. There we go.
Gosh, guys. First of all, this is my theory. Stage presence cannot be taught. It comes naturally, but it can be developed over time. That's the thing. You have to have emotion to have stage presence. There's a difference between, I'm going to use Crown Watts, for example. They have amazing stage presence, but it's very different than the stage presence that Miss Jackie has. But both feel, you can tell both are feeling the music and both are connecting to the audience and what they're doing. There is emotion behind both of those performers. They're feeling everything you do. And that's where I believe stage presence comes from. Then you have the bands that do more. That to me is not necessary. That's not stage presence to me. That's their show. Where's Scott? Why is Scott gone? Where did he go? Anyways, I think he left me. Scott, are you there? Anyways, then there's those bands that wear like Toy was saying, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not insulting that by any means, but I think that's different than stage presence.
I want to address that Naked Karate Girl comment, and I will disagree with. I want to disagree with Rick and Trina. The Naked Karate Girl, they're not musicians, but they all draw crowds. I happen to know Jimmy Lee King, and Jimmy King is a musician. He plays and plays well, and some of them do in that band. Now there's a lot of tracks and things going on because there's a big show happening with them, and that's why they can have various versions of the NKG, as it's known. I want to get into what makes it work here. I want to get into, like I was getting ready to talk about, and let me come back into the, I'm going to come back into the room. The menus been around for 34, 35 years, hugely popular, have a cult following. Not for everybody. I've heard people say, oh, I don't like the menus. Same thing they played 35 years ago. Well, it's still working. I mean, they're still getting booked. They're still playing. And they are probably one of the over-the-top theatrical bands you'll ever see locally. Naked Karate Girls, menus. I mean, you've had the Whammies, people like that. They put on a stage show, so to speak.
They're great at what they do.
Yes, and there is a market for that.
100%. They're the highest paid bands in this city.
And Rusty Griswold, when they were out there, they were commanding huge money.
Correct.
Huge. And I will tell you that band could play. I mean, Richie Turbush, one of the greatest guitarists I know locally. They can play in the Rusty Griswold. So we're not here today to say, oh, if you come out and you sit on a stool and you play music, that we're against that. We're here to say today that does the audience want some kind of theatrical stage show or stage presence from you? And what defines stage presence? You're playing with that ring light again, aren't you?
Well, because I feel like I look weird.
Well, I'm red. I look red. So, and maybe I am red. I'm getting red by the minute. Man, we cannot get to every comment today, guys, but you are blasting us. And hi, Billy. Thank you for that. We love these great topics, and we love some of the spirited debate that goes on. Tori Faith, and she says her trick is to conquer musicianship.
I think there's a time and a place for the theatrics. One of the most fun nights I've ever had was our glow party with the Whammies. I mean, that was so much fun. Another one of my most favorite nights is when like a band, like I'm just going to use them again, like Crown Watts plays.
Yeah. And
like, you know what I mean? There's just a time and a place for them all.
And you can't even compare Crown Watts.
That's my point.
To anybody. I mean, put the menus on one side, the Crown Watts on the other. That's the extremes, I think, in music. They are not a band that gets up there, dances around, plays.
No, but they have incredible stage presence.
They do, and they play hard. And the people that come to see them are there to hear great music.
And that's my point.
That's it.
They both have stage presence, the extremes, not extremes, but just, the opposite ends. And they're both really good at what they do.
And there's
Why
Tori talking about they dress up.
Want to see music?
I didn't hear that, Karis. What'd you say? You
Troy
cut
said,
out.
I want to see music. Does that mean that you want to see music in the sense of it comes out in the stage presence? Because I don't need, I mean.
Oh my God. That's no better words have been said there. We fight like married people. Okay. Yes.
Different styles of music call for different things on stage. That's true, Ed. That is very true.
Where are you at? You're way ahead of me. I'm trying to catch up.
I can't even read. I'm not even attempting to read them all. No offense, guys. I just can't.
There's 7 West.
The Glow Party was phenomenal. Like, I mean, that was the most fun. It was hands down one of the best nights.
7 West is saying his comment's great because I knew 7 West when he was just starting out, and 7 West would stand on stage. He would hit everybody with that booming country voice he has, and they'd be wowed by his voice, but he had 0 when he first started stage presence. 0. I mean, he was a robotic singer. He looked nervous. Now he's up there. He's comfortable as hell. You know,
I think for the moment 7 West, I mean, other than maybe the first time that he got on our stage, my stage, he was great. His stage presence was him. It was like in his eyes. It was in the way he felt the music. That's why I think this is a tough subject, because stage presence and putting on a show to me are so completely different.
Yeah, and Mike Kuntz. There's Mike talking and chiming in about the menus, and Mike sees a ton of music. I mean, he works and does incredible sound for many bands and national acts, and he knows what we're talking about, I think. And I don't want to go down a rabbit hole with stage presence being the focus term, but I think we needed to decide what that means, because so many people have different versions. They'll say that band had no stage presence because they stood up there. I've heard people say that about Crown Watts. They have huge stage presence.
I can see that, because that's somebody there's a different. Some people go out to see a show and some people go out to hear the music.
Chad Applegate. I love it, man. That's a great comment. Can you see the comments I'm putting on the screen, Karis?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And that's true.
People who are going out to see a show aren't there to really hear the music. Crown Watts has a great light show, and I think that's all Crown Watts needs, personally speaking. I mean, less is more. For me personally, that doesn't mean for my business, but for me personally, because I don't book what I love all the time. I don't order what I love, like for beer. I don't do any of it. It's what the crowds want. But less is more for me personally. I'm there to hear the music. I don't need the theatrics or anything like that. I do enjoy them at times, but I don't need them. Me personally, business-wise is very different.
So in your business, do you would you rather have a show band or a no-show band? I
want both, but all of them have to have stage presence.
And if you were saying, if you as a venue owner were to be asked, what's your definition of stage presence in your bar? How would you describe that to somebody? If a band wanted to know, what do you mean by that? I want to play your place.
If the only way I can describe this, honestly, is if you're bored up there, we're bored out there. If you don't look like you're enjoying yourself up there, we're definitely not enjoying ourselves. And if we hear you bitch and complain up there, it's a real big turnoff. Stage presence is about the emotion. It's about how you feel about what you're doing, what you're playing, that you're up there because you love playing music.
Okay. I think that's a good definition.
You have to feel what you're doing. Like, whether it means you're dancing because that's how you feel it, like Miss Jackie. Miss Jackie feels it in her whole body. Her whole body exerts stage presence. Or somebody who their eyes are closed, they're looking up, they're feeling it, like their whole body, like their body's different, but like their mind's in it. There is no one answer for that.
That's why we picked this topic. I think it's a great topic, and I think we're getting a lot of interaction.
Different. Yeah, stage show is completely different. I agree with Chris Reese.
And Chris Reese is a great Prince fan, and Chris and I connect on the Prince side a lot. And I will say that I've seen Prince live, and I will tell you that Prince was one of the greatest musicians, singers, performers of all time. His stage show was even more extreme than his musicianship, and that's pretty damn good. So that's one I want to go see, and I would not like to. I mean, it'd be cool to see Prince unplugged, sitting at a guitar and doing his thing, but I think it was so cool to see the band, the theatrics,
absolutely,
the entire thing. And you go to see that show.
Right.
I saw Trans-Siberian Orchestra recently. It is a show. I mean, they don't bring 12 semis full of equipment to just stand up there and sing a few songs. I mean, it's a theatrical show. But what about the guy that's on stage by himself singing in the local pub? Does he need to do a stage show? Does he need to be animated, or is it more of a connection with the audience?
Well, that's
a tough question.
I feel for them, because there is such thing as going over the top. And then some people go over the top and some people are just boring. You have to do both. If you're going up there acoustically, first of all, more power to you, because I think that's even tougher. I think that's tough. But if you're doing it, then you almost, it's just you that they're focusing on. So you have to offer something for them to hold on to.
And how do you think you do that? I mean, I have my ideas, but I'll save them for a minute.
I think maybe interacting with the crowd a little bit. I think maybe telling a joke, like just something like that. And again, feeling the music.
The next show we do, we're going to do 2 of these because there's a lot more to talk about on this topic, but we need to talk about storytelling. And I think when you're a solo or a duo, there's a place for storytelling. Now, you may disagree with that, because I know you want the thing to be going, and no time for anything in between and all that. I know
that's not it. Man, shit. When I go out to hear music, I want to go out to hear music. I'm tired. Like, I don't want to listen to people talk. I want to hear my music, but that's me personally, not business, but me personally. I just want to hear the music. I love music. I want to hear and feel the music. I don't care about your opinion.
Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want anybody to get opinionated, but I'd like to know some background to the songs sometimes, especially if they're doing original stuff.
Well, that's different.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a big lie. And believe me, I'm not a proponent either of you standing up there and talking for 15 minutes about how, you were eating peas and carrots when you wrote this song.
Also, the worst part is when people are trying to talk and they might tell their story and it's muffled and you can't hear anything.
Can't hear them.
Everybody's just sitting there going, what? Just play some music.
Right. Who did I see recently? It was that way. Oh, I went to see a show at the Dayton Masonic, and it was that way. The music was okay and you could hear it, but man, when they tried to talk in between songs, it was awful.
Oh.
And Josh Morgan, I was waiting on somebody to say that, because that's a whole different animal too. Musicianship and showmanship is 2 different things.
Completely different things.
I mean, I've done a show with Yngwie Malmsteen, and he sat on a stool and played incredible guitar, some of the best guitar playing I ever heard in my entire life. But he had the stage presence of a wet noodle. I mean, he really didn't. But he carried it with his great guitar work. That's what his show was about. And Matt Matheny, never make everyone happy. Amen to that, Matt. I can't even make Karis happy. Jesus. All right. Stacy Tucker, thanks for chiming in today. The energy of those on stage. Yeah. When the band's having fun, the crowd's having fun. I'm going to say that too. And you see that when the band's got tension and somebody's girlfriend just bitch slapped the other girl or whatever, that just breaks the mood for me. And you can always tell band tensions.
I don't think there's anything more frustrating or disappointing than listening to somebody on stage bitch and complain about their fellow musicians that they're on stage with about what's going on. I just think people forget what's happening on stage is what the audience is feeling.
That makes sense, Toy. Thank you. Yeah, I agree, Karis. And what the audience is feeling is the utmost importance, because that's what keeps them in the seats or up on the dance floor and keeps them in the venue. Because if the audience isn't feeling it, we go back to last week's topic, they leave.
Yeah.
And simple as that, they do. And that's good, Butch. I agree. It's really subjective. This whole thing is subjective on your views and what you think. And it's an interesting dilemma. What's that? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I was agreeing with Butch.
Yeah.
And Chris Reese, thanks.
He's going to agree with you because you book his ass. That's all there is to it. All right.
No, it's because I'm smart.
Okay. You are smart. That's why you're on here. That's why we should do this show in this fashion, right? Here. There it is. Yes. And yeah, people stand in place for 2 hours and play. And the crowd, and had the crowd 100% of the crowd. I agree. There are certain artists that have that command. You know, I've done shows with Jamie Johnson, same way. He's one of those. Rock wise, you can go see a stripped down version. And I've seen Bret Michaels do a show solo where he sat on a stool, played an acoustic guitar. It was mesmerizing. It was so good. But you know, it's all in the eyes of the beholder, so to speak. And I'm trying to roll some comments through here before we have to go today. But let me say this. First of all, how does somebody project the ideal version that they want the audience to capture? I mean, that's going to be one question we bring up next week, I think. And positive body language, posture. I mean, you know, there's a lot of ways you and I can be excited doing this show, or we could be, you know, slouched out like this has got us so freaking bored we want to go home. There's musicians you see get on stage and they do that. You know them. You've seen them.
And I don't rebook him.
But, you know, do you ever give them advice?
Man, people's shows are so fragile that
I know.
I just, if they hate what they're doing, don't worry about it. You don't have to do it on my stage.
Yes. 7 would like to get a few local musicians on the show for part 2. We've had some on, and yes, we can have some on again. We had Lee Dixon on one day, did a great job. But I'm scrolling through the comments.
Musicians by any means. I mean,
I'm sorry, I'm lost. Hi, Mike from Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Thanks for tuning in
Mike.
today from there.
We're talking about our epic glow party.
And Toy was talking about Billy Sutherland's comment. And Billy, I've seen Billy play with White Knuckle Weekend, and he gets out there, works the audience. He gets the crowd involved. You know, stick a mic in their face once in a while, let them sing a few lyrics. It's fun. It's a fun show.
Let's talk about Charles's comment right there.
There?
No, not that one.
Further down?
Well, sort of.
That one?
Mm-hmm. So there's a couple of artists out there that
I know where this is going.
That what you wear, yeah, can even show off. It absolutely can. Also, taking off your clothes in the middle of a show is not good, in my opinion. It's keep your tops on. There's a couple of musicians out there that just go and they start taking off their shirts in the middle of their show. And then they go off stage and they start walking around.
And I've seen people that dress horribly inappropriate for their age. And I'm just going to say that, and it's going to piss people off. You're only young once or whatever, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. And, if you're coming to a show dressed like you would have in 1980 and it's part of the theatrical show, that's one thing. But if you're wearing those clothes daily and you think you're still stuck in the 80s as a rock star, it ain't going to happen, people. I mean, people are looking at you and sometimes chuckling about it. And I know I'm trying not to single anybody out, but Ceris, you know what I mean? And it's, yeah, taking your clothes off on stage doesn't do it. And I just had lunch with Hollywood today from Pullman Lanes. We talked about this a little bit. We talked about the topic, and you know what he was bringing up too is where we got back to the know your venue thing. And if you come in there playing songs and every other word's the F-bomb, and you've got a room full of adults, kids, and a mixture of family atmosphere, you're shooting yourself in the head, man. You're never going to get booked back.
This goes back to doing your research, doing your homework.
Absolutely.
You know,
and Heath, you can be on anytime. You've been offered 1,000 times to be on this show. I've even said you need to come on and talk about wearing your own merch, and he wouldn't do it. Wouldn't do it. What else we got? Anything left here before we go? We got to go soon. And that band's going to do a shirtless show. That I do not want to see, Chris Reese. I'm sorry. Your moves are not going to be on my radar. See anything else on there, Ceris? I'm trying to scroll.
No, we love your bells, Gina. You dress.
Gina dresses cool as hell. I mean, she is.
Everything you do on stage is, excuse me, fucking perfect. Don't change a bit.
Gina is the Janis Joplin of this era. I mean, that's kind of the way I feel about her. She's flashy. She's fun.
You're the one who sent me a message, Chad. I've been looking for that message and I can't find it because I laughed my ass off. I think he sent me a message saying, all right, what do I got to do to get booked? I can come in this outfit or something like that. I thought that was very funny and clever. And I couldn't find his message.
You lost it.
Dude, yesterday I had 72 messages and I'm only through 15 of those from yesterday. And then today I had like 48 or something like that. I'm so tired.
Are you tired?
Yeah.
I'm tired. Think we ought to do part 2 of this? Ceris, did you wake up and...
I'm torn because...
Have we beat it to death? It's going to be the week between Christmas and New Year's. So, you know...
Did you hear that language? Sorry.
Your language. Corky. Yes. Corky's calling you out. And yeah, she's going to get me kicked off the internet, Corky, with her potty mouth. It will. But, you know.
We've all heard it.
We've all heard your mouth. I get on a roll once in a while, too, but I try. I bite my lip.
I tried.
So we've had great viewership today. Great comments. We appreciate you all chiming in. Let us know if you think we ought to do part 2 of this and talk about some other things. There's a ton of things that we could talk about bands on stage and what they should be doing. You know, like working the entire room, not just a couple of people. You know, it all involves your stage presence.
We can talk about that if you wanted to, but I feel like I'm going to offend. I feel like we're going to offend people.
Why don't we tag in we'll offend people, but how about not allowing silence and dead air between your songs and things like that? We can talk about that next week. That's all part of the stage show. It is. And the more you bore people, the more it gets that way. And you make it personal for your fans. You got to make it personal for those who come to see. I hate the term fan, but those who come to see you play, got to make it personal.
Can I just respond to Chad? Chad, yours was my favorite message. Just so you know, professional or not, that was my favorite message. And that's why I'm bummed that I couldn't find it.
Yeah. Things make her laugh, Chad. If
you can make me laugh, you're one step ahead.
Because I never make her laugh, ever.
So negative. I
am. Today, I'm negative Nelly today, and I'm going to stay that way until you're nicer to me.
I think next week what we should do is listen to these guys and just bring the musicians on and have them say what they do. Give the musicians a chance to give their opinion and say what they want.
Okay. Send us a message, All Around Town Radio on the Book of Face, guys, and I'll get you signed up and into the link next week to be on the show with Ceris and I. If you're willing to be here at 5:00 on Tuesday next week, that's how it'll work. You heard it here first. Butch wants to be offended, please. Bill Burley, thank you. Good to have you with us. Yes.
Invisible Tim? I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, my friend Invisible Tim? Is that who we're talking about? I knew that was coming. I have no friends because I hang out with you. All right.
One is the loneliest number that there ever was.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you had a good time with us today.
Who is it? Oh, we done? Okay, my bad.
Yeah, I'm going to Mr. Burroughs do some trivia tonight. Stop in. Christmas
Holy
trivia.
Food.
What are you going to eat?
All of the food.
Every bit of it?
Every bit of it.
Okay. Well, I'll see you this week. We'll be down that way, so having some fun. Thanks, Ceris. I appreciate you always. Thank you to our listeners and audience, and those of you. Don't forget to hit the share button on the show, guy. Help us out a little bit, and we'll see you next week.
Of course, it's a whole team. Nobody's saying it's one person.
Who's that?
That's the whole point. It's the whole team.
That's because James is one of the greatest light guys you'll ever meet. So he wants his credit where credit's due.
That's a good light show this episode.
Butch wants us to have zero. I'm going to have 0 hour on Wednesday with the band. They're going to be on with me to chat about their stuff. Casey Gomez, thank you so much. Appreciate you being here. And they'll be playing down at Pullman soon, CFG and Family. And I think, Karis, you're looking at them for next year's lineup, aren't you?
Yeah, in January.
Yeah, all right, perfect.
I think this Thursday and jam with us too.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan. All right, guys, we've run way long. Again, thank you for your viewership. And we're going to cut out of here. Karis, you going to say bye to everybody, or what are you going to do?
You said earlier a band was only good because of a light show. I don't think I
don't know. Jamie Minnick missed it again. Thanks, Jamie. I'm beginning to think we're not friends anymore. You
misheard me or misunderstood what I was saying, James. It's the whole team. It takes a village.
Yes. Let's go. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Dance us out, Karis.
Still dancing. Oh, there you are. God.